Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Find Out What's in Pelenta's Forrest. Grab yourself a glass of water or a cup of tea and spend the next few minutes with me. And remember, like I always tell you, don't believe everything you hear. Check your facts. Do your own research. Tonight is going to be super cool because we are going to be talking about designer babies. Don't you want to know what my butterflies are saying? Don't you want to know what my butterflies are talking? I want to know, designer babies. Man, this is gonna be juicy. I think that's it. Hold on a minute. I think that's it. My brains are so scrambled. It's like I can't even focus. I've been wanting to talk about this whole designer baby thing for like a week now, and I just want to just jump right into it because it is so dang creepy. Have you heard about the lonesome loser? Have you heard about designer babies? Okay, let me back up a little bit because you know how I've been ranting about Monsanto and Bayer trying to buy them out. Well, you know that Monsanto is all about genetically modified this and this and that and all that, right? Genetically modified. Well, designer babies is kind of similar to that. This is going to be juicy because I actually want to go through as much of this as I can and read a lot of it because it's really interesting. So it's going to be hard for me to be serious, but I'm going to stop messing around and just get right to it. So, as usual, check this out. Designer baby. A designer baby is a baby that is a direct result of genetic screening or genetic modification. Stay with me, and I'm going to say it again. A designer baby is a baby that is a result of genetic screening or genetic modification. Now, we're not talking about a baby doll from Toys R Us. We're talking about a real human baby. Okay, people? Embryos may be screened prior to implantation or possibly gene therapy techniques that could be used to create desired traits in a child. Now, I'm going to get started referencing movies, and you guys are probably wondering, why am I always... Hold on a second. Excuse me. Pardon me, I had something in my throat. And you guys are probably wondering, why am I always referencing movies? Because when I get on this great big old rant, I'm always saying, well, remember like in Twilight Zone, in The Sixth Day, and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and I'm always going on and on about comparing these movies, 1984 and this and that. Well, I do that because if you look back at these movies, such as Total Recall, what did you have in Total Recall? You had the naked body scanner. Because when he went walking through it, excuse me, you could see straight through his clothes. You saw he had a gun, etc., etc. And what happened? 20 years later, we have naked body scanners at the airport. So my point being is there's 1% of truth in every lie. Science fiction movies, what you see in the movie, which is made up, it always ends up showing up somewhere in real life 10, 15, or 20 years down the line. Now, getting back to the designer baby. Remember in the Matrix when, I think it might have been Morpheus or it might have been Neo, excuse me, but what did he say humans are no longer born, they're grown. Remember when he said that? Well, that is kind of similar to this, because basically what this is saying is, with the designer baby, you can create desired traits in a child. Now, let me go on to read a little bit more of this, and then I'm going to give you my super crazy conspiracy theory opinion on the rest of this. So, in medicine and genetics, pre-implantation and genetics diagnosis, also known as embryo screening, is a procedure performed on embryos prior to implantation. And sometimes it's even on oocytes prior to fertilization. So, you know how we do in vitro and all that kind of stuff? Well, and listen, it says here that it's not new to technology, because the very first PGD babies, also known as designer babies, man, I'm going to try not to cross my eyes, I swear. But guess when they were first created? Guess when they were first created? Now, it just said here, it's nothing new. They were first created in 1989. And they were first born in 1990. You hear me? So, you already have designer babies out here running around. And with the first uterus transplant, it was successful in Switzerland. They already have babies born from this uterus transplant. And now you have designer babies. So, use your brain muscles, people. Open up your mind and check this out. Because this story right here definitely is deserving of a whole full hour, all right? Because designer baby, you can create desired traits in a child. So basically, if you have enough money, you can go into that lab and you can give birth to Superman if you want to. Seriously. Implantation, before implantation. So you take out my eggs, my embryo, whatever, and let's see. I want to have a boy. I want that boy to have purple hair. I want him to have green eyes. I want him to have sharp teeth, short fingers. I want him to have eyesight like an eagle. I want him to run as fast as a bear. Do you see where I'm going with this? Because see, every time we come out with, and I'm not trying to be negative, okay? I'm not trying to make science always sound like it's terrible, because science is amazing. But you know that every good scientist, you have a bad scientist. For every Dr. Jekyll, you got a Dr. Frankenstein, and you have a Dr. Who, and you have a Dr. Y. You know how it is. So you always got some crazy doctor out there that wants to take this stuff to the extreme, all right? So in the midst of you having this power to create this designer baby, you also have this power to create whatever you want. You understand what I'm saying? And you've been doing this since 1989. So now you're telling us that you've done it since 1989. One was born in 1990. But what was happening before 1989? And what is happening with these babies that were born in 1990? Because, see, I have a sneaking suspicion that these babies might be in the Olympics. Because you know, the United States of America, we have more gold medals than anybody. We can't be beat. Well, I shouldn't say we can't be beat, because anybody can be beat. But I have to admit, we are quite successful. And what do they say? Bring them young, You know, get started on them young. Babies is like a sponge. You get started young, you get in that routine, and you keep on going and going. But anyway, I think this designer baby thing is absolutely crazy. Because, I mean, you've gone from, like I said, humans are no longer born. They're grown. Oh my goodness. We are just taking God out of everything. Because we're now God. We're mixing and matching and mixing and creating and just doing anything that we want to. But yeah, this designer baby is an absolute trip because you can create any kind of child that you want. Remember me telling you about that book by Sine Mitchell, The Changeling Plague? You know, you want wings. You know, pretty soon, being human is going to be a rarity. Mark my words. Look up transhumanism and human genetic engineering. And also look up reprogenetics. Look that up too. Because the direction that the human race is moving into is also very interesting. Because it also plays into, I mean, if you want to get into a religious tip as well, because we don't talk about religion or politics on this show, but if you also get into a religious part of it, if you are not human in a sense, you know, then you're not going to go to heaven because you still have to be part of God, so on and so forth, you know. So if you start getting yourself modified and you're no longer human, then in a sense, you are also no longer part of the Father in heaven and so on and so forth. So, you know, like I said, we can go on for an hour because this stuff gets real deep. When you start changing your human DNA, and you are no longer part of the Holy Spirit and all that kind of stuff. I mean, this is something that I'm sure I could have a wonderful conversation with Paul Bagley about, because he's a preacher. And he's got his own show on here. So this is something that I'm sure that he would definitely be all over, because it's crazy the things that we are taking into our own hands and changing and doing. You know, it's just like in X-Men Apocalypse when the bad dude showed up. You know, and he had his 4 horsemen subliminal message. And what did he say? Come and see. Come and see. So, you guys, get out there and check out those designer babies. Check out, MK Ultra. You might want to check that out too. And, you know, it's out there. It's out there online. All you got to do is open your eyes and read. So anyway, you guys, that's it for me this evening. Thank you for watching. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Go to my website, PelentaRforrest.com. Buy my book. And I think that is it. I am very grateful for everything, and I'm grateful for you too. We are going to get on out of here with my favorite. What is it called? It's called One Love, people. One Love. Because we are one. I ain't no designer baby. I am a designer from the designer himself. Don't be an armchair warrior. Check your facts. Look at that. Did you see that? I can't blame that on my editor. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. See you next time.